The other day, I had a massive to-do list. I was getting through it really well, and then after having taken my lunch break and gone for my normal walk, I sat back down at my desk and I found that all of my energy, motivation and focus had completely disappeared, and I felt awful. I then realised that this wasn't a one-off. This is something that has happened a lot in my life up to now. I had a question. Could it be that eating lunch in the middle of the day was the cause of my daytime fatigue and performance drop? To find out, I decided to do a little Google search. It wasn't long before I stumbled across the popular dieting concept known as intermittent fasting, where you don't eat for the majority of the time and then get all your calories from maybe 1 or 2 meals in the day. Intermittent fasting has been linked to numerous health benefits, from higher energy, better concentration, lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol and better digestion. Quite an impressive list of benefits, so I decided to research further. In the modern world, us humans have become very accustomed to the 3 square meals a day routine, broken up with occasional snacks. But it didn't always used to be like this. Back in our hunter-gatherer days, it was very common to go for long fasts because there was simply no food available, to have an occasional feast when the tribe brought back something from their hunt. It's even said that us humans have actually evolved to fast rather than eating all of our calories in smaller chunks throughout the day. In fact, in one of the comments I read on a Reddit post about intermittent fasting, it was even said that the reason we had 3 square meals a day is so that big companies and restaurants can make money, but I'm sure that is another issue for another time. It was at this point in my research that I stumbled across a very interesting YouTube video on Dr. Oz's channel with the title saying something like, "Health guru eats 5,000 calories in one meal and still says that he's healthy." Naturally, I was very interested and of course I clicked. In the video, Instagram sensation and health guru Blake Horton breaks down his very own Blake diet, which he lives his life by. He explains that he gets all of his daily calories in one meal, and in his case, due to the fact that he burns 3,850 calories a day, this equates to 5,000 calories. That's a massive number. In the video, Blake explains that he used to be quite overweight and he was quite depressed whilst trying to lose weight via conventional dietary means, such as breaking up his eating into 6 small meals throughout the day. However, none of the conventional methods he tried worked until he heard about the concept of intermittent fasting, and in the video, Blake being Blake, he decided to take it to the absolute extreme and get all of his calories from one meal to meet the demands of his body in terms of how much exercise he does. What really interested me about Blake's method was the fact that he said after having started eating in this intermittent fasting routine where he'd get all of his calorie needs in one go, he felt 10 times better in terms of his mental health, he had more energy, he saved time in terms of the preparation needed for food, and he was able to maintain focus throughout the day. And obviously, of course, he was able to lose weight. That is the big reason that he started on this intermittent fasting eating pattern. What's even more interesting is the fact that Blake is in very good health. He actually has better than average blood sugar levels, better than average cholesterol levels, and he's extremely ripped, as you can see from his Instagram page where he uploads his midnight feasts of him eating massive amounts of food in one go to demonstrate the Blake diet in action.
Intermittent fasting is consuming all of your daily nutrients, usually in a shorter time frame than normal. That would mean consuming all of your nutrients in 8 hours or less, and fasting or not taking in any calories for 16 hours or more.
Being someone who often struggles with productivity, motivation, focus and mood in the middle of the day, often after eating my lunchtime meal, I decided to give Blake's dietary regime a go. Today, I'm going to be trying to eat 5,000 calories in one go. That's going to be my only meal for the entire day, and then I'm going to see how I get on in terms of motivation, focus, energy, and I'm going to see if I notice a big difference in eating in this manner compared to my normal eating habits of eating 3 square meals a day, broken up by the occasional snacks. Now you could say that 5,000 calories is a bit extreme and there's no need to be copying Blake's diet down to a T, but I can assure you that I have built up caloric demand in my body because I've gone for a half marathon this morning and I haven't eaten since yesterday evening, so I'm feeling pretty hungry. I've of course gone for very bad, unhealthy dietary choices such as KFC, McDonald's and a lovely pizza from the UK's very own Asda. Now you could say straight away that obviously this isn't the type of food that you want to be eating every day because obviously you would have a heart attack very soon, but just for the purposes of this test I decided to buy these types of foods to try it because it was very easy to make it up to 5,000 calories and I am feeling pretty hungry right now. And also, Blake does recommend in his diet that you can eat some unhealthy things in moderation. So in terms of the food breakdown, we have got approximately 5,200 calories in front of us. We've got 20 chicken nuggets from McDonald's, a big tasty meal from McDonald's. We've got a mighty bucket for one meal from KFC, and we've got a mighty meat feast pizza from Asda. And of course, we've got the lovely various dips from McDonald's that they supply with their beautiful chicken nuggets. So you're about to see things get very ugly. I'm gonna try eating all of this food in one go. Let's give it a try. What's the most calories that you've ever eaten in one go? Not a question that we stop and ask ourselves every day. Around 1,500 has probably got to be my personal record up to now. Were there really so many benefits to be gained from intermittent fasting versus the now standard 3 meals with snacks in between approach that we're all so used to? I didn't know what was in store, but I knew that I had to find out. Whilst working my way through this mountain of food, I thought of other possible benefits to doing all of the day's eating in one sitting, like saving time on meal prep and not going hungry throughout the day. Being someone that runs every day in the morning, I often find myself daydreaming about the next meal, which distracts me from my work. So if there was a way to deal with this constant hunger in one go, I knew this could be a game changer. I worked my way through the first 2,500 calories without too much problem. In hindsight, having the pizza in the mix was a big mistake because the bread base quickly started to fill me up and didn't sit well in my stomach. Right, it's been about 25 minutes since I started eating, and I'm starting to wonder now, as ironic as it sounds, have I bitten off more than I could chew? I've just estimated that I'm about 4,000 calories in. I've eaten the chicken nuggets, the big tasty burger, all the fries, the majority of the chicken except from this lovely little bit here. And I've got half of the pizza left as well, but it's now become very, very difficult. In hindsight, maybe it was a bit ambitious to be jumping from a diet of 2,500 calories a day to 5,000 calories in one single meal without any kind of conditioning up to that point beforehand. But that's what I'm all about, trying new things. I wonder if I'll be able to do it. I'm going to have to go Adam Richman from Man vs. Food. So, using my last ounces of strength, I pick up the last morsels and I shovel it into my mouth. Nothing is going to stop me this time. What happened next has never happened to me before, and I'm a little ashamed to talk about it. I bit into the next slice of pizza and I had the strangest sensation in my stomach. My head, with its eyes rolling, darted around the room as if to look for an imaginary person to tell me what was happening to me. Then, all of a sudden, the floodgates opened and all the food that I'd eaten up to that point made its reappearance onto the table. Game over. Just kidding! I carried on until about 4,500 calories of food, but then, with respect for my edible, delicious opponent, I threw in the towel. Okay, so everything is down except from this final half of pizza. I've tried to eat one slice, and looking at the time I realised that I'm only halfway through the slice in about 5 minutes. I think it's safe to say that this has beaten me. I thought I could take on 5,000 calories. I could only manage about 4,500. That being said, I'm very, very full right now, and I'm very interested to see what happens in terms of my motivation, concentration and focus for the remainder of the day. I'm going to see if this approach of eating all of my caloric needs for the day in one go is the better option, and I'm going to see if I get any benefits compared to my normal eating style of having 3 square meals a day with snacks in between. So all that's left for me to do is to walk off this food baby, get to work, and then I will let you know how I got on at the end of the day. And we are at the end of the day in this test of intermittent fasting, where earlier on I tried eating 5,000 calories in one try, only to come up a little bit short at 4,500 calories. So, how did I get on? Did I notice a difference in eating all of my calories in one meal rather than spreading them out in the traditional 3 meals across the day? Overall, I've noticed a big improvement. I've been able to focus and work for longer. I haven't felt lethargic and tired all of a sudden. And also, my mood has remained relatively stable and constant, and I've been in pretty high spirits for the majority of the day. In terms of the benefits, the first main benefit that I would like to mention is that I was able to stay focused on my work for longer throughout the day, and I didn't have any peaks and troughs of motivation compared to normal days where I have my lunch in the middle of the day and that sort of makes my motivation and focus dip significantly. The second main benefit is that I had a lot more time available. I didn't have to spend time meal prepping during breakfast, lunch and dinner because I did all of the prepping for the one meal. If I was going to keep this up, I could see that being a big game changer in saving about 45 minutes a day in my daily routine. The third benefit that really took me by surprise was that my mood remained relatively stable and I kept in high spirits throughout the majority of the day. Usually on days when I have my lunch, when I sit back down to work after taking a stroll and having some food, I usually find that not only is my energy and motivation gone, I also experience a drop in mood sometimes. But in this particular test, I was pleasantly surprised to see that I was able to maintain a high positive mood throughout the entire day. So it's for that reason that I'm really going to consider integrating this method of eating, intermittent fasting, into my routine for the long term. However, there are two things that I need to mention with this particular test because I'm sure that if I alter them for the future, I will experience even greater results. The first thing is that 5,000 calories is simply too much. Even though I had gone for a half marathon in the morning as a workout, I still found that I was unable to finish the entire mountain of food and I could only manage about 4,500 calories. That being said, I could eat comfortably up to around 3,000, 3,500 calories, which correlates to the amount of calories that I typically burn on an average day. So if I was going to do this in the future, I would definitely lower the amount of calories that I consume to make sure that it's more suitable for what my body actually needs so that I can actually finish the food and none of it has to go back in the fridge for later use. In fact, Blake himself even says that for the majority of his meals he sticks around 4,000 calories because that's more suitable for his bodily demands. And it was just on Dr. Oz's show where they found one post on Instagram where on that particular occasion he'd eaten 5,000 calories. So 5,000 calories was definitely out of the norm of Blake's particular eating habits, so that's something that I'm going to bear in mind for the future, and I'll definitely be lowering the calorie total. The second thing that I'd like to mention is obviously the choice of foods. They were pretty abysmal and they were lacking in quality. There wasn't really a good selection or quantity of nutrients, vitamins and minerals, and it was really high in saturated fats and sugars and salts. Sugar and spice and all things bad, in other words. Usually I eat pretty healthily. I get my 5 fruits or vegetables a day, drink lots of water, eat plenty of fish and white meat, and very occasionally will I have something like a packet of crisps, but that is once in a blue moon. If I was going to carry on intermittent fasting for the future, I would certainly get more scientific with calculating what exactly it is that I'm eating. So I would probably make sure that I get a decent amount of protein, carbs, I will calculate the vitamins, nutrients and minerals, just to ensure that I was getting a balanced and varied diet because I like getting into the details like that. The big question, am I going to continue intermittent fasting in my life for the long term? Well, despite those two flaws in my method that I've just mentioned, I was pleasantly surprised to find just how many benefits I reaped from eating in this particularly concentrated 1 meal per day approach. There's obviously room for improvement in my method, but I'm confident that with a few tweaks, I'll be able to create an intermittent fasting method of 1 meal per day that could work for me. It may not be successful, but it's certainly worth giving it a try after the positive results that I've experienced today. I hope you found this video useful and interesting, and until the next time, see you soon.